Hi there, my name is Shri, and one of the things that I've been working on recently is a little game called Triangle. It's an ARPG factory building game set in space. It's inspired by asteroids. More specifically, there was a video that the coding train did on YouTube that I was watching a few months ago, and it just inspiration struck, and I wanted to build something that brings together many elements of some of the games that I love. There is another video about how far I've gotten with it, including some demos, and it goes through the code and the structure and everything. And what I want to carry on here actually is I'm working on getting a releasable. Releasable is too strong a word. I want to deploy the current version, which is extremely early access. It really doesn't have many features at all, any features, if any. But I want to get it out there so that people can try it out. There isn't much to try, but whatever is there, I want people to be able to play with and to get some feedback. And I also want to put in the cycle where whenever I release a feature, it's deployed out, because I just like having that whole system working, and I want to have it working as early as possible. So the bits I need to complete before anybody else or somebody else can really try it out is it needs a menu, because right now when you press escape, it just exits the game. That's not ideal. I want to be able to display a menu and give the user an option to exit. And also, I want to use that as a place to display some additional information, maybe some version information. And if we want to be able to enable logging, if something is going wrong, and I just want to log or collect a log of various bits of information. And possibly, and another thing, config location, because I've set this up so that you can configure the keyboard shortcuts if you want to change it, but it'll be helpful to know where those files are. So that's really the next part that I want to do, which is the menu. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to say, but I forgot now. So one thing I want to cover, there are a couple of things. One, let's draw out a little quick menu in here to see what that might look like. And the other thing is that my workflow usually involves working with ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT has put some code out here, which I may or may not use, but I kind of use ChatGPT as a bit of a peer programmer in some ways. It helps to have somebody, quote unquote, somebody to just bounce ideas off of and chat things through. I'm still pretty new to Zig, and I am also equally new to game programming. So it's nice to just have something or somebody to bounce some ideas off and get a starter for 10 in terms of how I might want to tackle something. ChatGPT's knowledge of DVUI, which is the UI framework that I use, is minimal at best, so I can't use most of the code it gives me anyway. Its code for Raylib is usually not too far off, but it usually needs some tweaks. But I probably won't use, let's see if I need to use that stuff. So the way I'm thinking about it for now is that I just need a basic menu. I wonder if I can I give that, so resume can be one of the options. Obviously the font will be different, although I quite like this font, but I'm not sure what it is. I did ask ChatGPT once, but it couldn't give me quite what the font was. Actually, let's set up a screen. I mean, obviously not two proportions, and that doesn't matter, but what I'm thinking is just putting a menu down the middle. Actually, most people put a menu either down the middle or on the left. I wonder if we should be a little bit contrary and put it on the right. From a user experience perspective, it might make sense for the menu to be on the right, because we read left to right, and maybe the options that the user might want to click on should be on the right. We can try that out. So the first option should be resume, because that's just to escape the escape. The last option should be quit. We don't have save right now, so let's just call it quit. Do we have any other options? We might not even have any other options for now. There are a couple of things I've been thinking about. Once we go into the menu, we want to pause the game, so time no longer passes. And I'm just wondering if there is anything. Oh, actually, let me just check the stuff that we have here. Display menu on escape when no panels open. That's a little if statement that we'll need to implement, because if there are two panels in the game, the crafting panel and the inventory panel. If they're open, then escape should just close those. Display config location. So we want to display a little bit of information there. That's good. We don't need the queue to quit anymore because they can just exit. Actually, let me just do CAT. Can I set a cancelled? Yep, cancelled. Okay. Oh, contact form. We need a version, display, and contact form. Let me just pop that in here. And debug. Enable logging, and this one, let me just move that up to here. These can go, oops. Oh, it doesn't let me go out. All right, because this is a heading. Let me just fix that. How to close panel. Escape should also close. That's fine. Display config location. Actually, we can just make this. We also want to display version. And we also want to actually display menu on the how to close panel. Currently only keyboard shortcut. Escape should also close. Escape should close any open panels first. I'm basically just writing out the story here in bullet points. Display config location, version display, and we need a way to be able to enable logging. So that really goes under debug. Is that debug? Maybe that should all be debug. Yeah, okay, let's call it that. Debug. And we want to be able to enable logging. What else do we have? Contact form. Yep, we want a contact form as well. Actually, let's make that one of these. Let's add in resume. And let's add in quit. Oops. All right. Okay, that's a good start. 2 seconds. So let's just get that. So what all? Let me just check. Display menu. That's just functionality. Let me actually just put that up there. Resume, and then we've got debug. Now debug only has one button, and we're displaying 2 bits of information. We can display the information anywhere. Actually, let's put version up here. Version 0.1.0. And we need to display the config location as well. I feel like that should probably just go in small text at the bottom. /home//doc config slash triangle slash that's it. And I want to make this a little bit smaller, and we should probably put config. Yeah. And let me just pop that. I mean, could the text be smaller than that? Maybe, but this should go up so it doesn't interfere. And what did we have? So debug, we want to be able to switch the I'll put that up here. Ooh, settings will come in here eventually. That's fine though. Logging off, and we'll start off with this button disabled because that won't have any functionality, and contact form. Okay, should we call it contact or feedback? Feedback is what they are providing. What do I want to do when I am clicking that button? I want to contact the developer. But why do I want to contact the developer? Could be for feedback. Could be just to ask a question. Could be, yeah, maybe contact is good enough. Okay, that's maybe okay. Maybe that's a good place to start. One thing I'm wondering is whether this should be top right. No, it feels better up here. Feel like it's good for it to take a little bit of space. I'm also wondering whether there should be a box here with release notes and maybe a bit of a disclaimer about the state of the game. I do have a plan for a friendly notice in a dialogue when the gamer starts the game, but maybe it's good to put something like that on this screen as well, or just replicate it onto that screen as well. It's something to consider for later. Okay, let's try and start with this one. I just remembered that I tried to update Zig the other day, and okay, I'm in the wrong place. Triangle. Yeah, I switched to 15.1. Let me just check Zig version. Okay, ZVM use 0.14.1. Because when I tried this, it actually didn't build. I could probably fix that. It didn't build because DVUI needed an update more. It showed a compiler error with DVUI. I'm kind of thinking about it because 0.15 has some performance improvements in compile, and compile is getting slower and slower, so it was annoying me a bit. Let's just do the build run. Right. Wow, it's been a while since I saw this. All right. Hey, but it's nice. Right. So right now, if I hit escape, it just exits the game. Let me just check any changes. Ooh, what are these changes? Oh, right. They defaulted the panel to be closed, which is fine. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So actually first let's start a branch minus git switch minus C. Menus. Oof. GUI work is not my favorite, but here we go. So I'll maybe be going a bit slower here. So, but that's okay. Let's see. So in main, one of the things that I want to do is rl.window should close. So I wonder how it detects the escape key there. Let's check. Raylib window should not close on escape. Let's see. Hit shell. Currently escape will be eaten by Raylib's keyboard input handling. The issue was addressed. Set exit key. Huh. But what if I don't want an exit key? This doesn't seem to be, there doesn't seem to be a way to disable the exit key entirely. Oh, set exit key of 0 should work. Huh. I think at one point, okay. Fine. Let's see, did they add that in? Or MT is more semantically correct, saying unbind this event rather than actually following. It should be key null. Just added it. Okay. So since searching for reason brought me here, I'm not sure, but it only works if set is called after init window. Fine. That's helpful to know. So I got a bit distracted in the previous session when I wanted to do a build. Well, it wasn't exactly in the build that I got distracted. I wanted to be able to watch it. And watch wasn't working because of a bug in the Zig compiler, which is fixed in a later version. But then I ran into problems with DVUI needing fixes that are not applied yet. So I reverted back my Zig version and I had to switch to using system Zig binaries because I had switched over to ZVM, which wasn't working, and I had to undo a bunch of stuff. But ultimately, what that means is, apart from a few changes I made to reflect some changes in DVUI, which is that now most of the calls don't throw an error, so I don't need to try for them. So I've got that in here, but I'm just going to start or make an effort again to start from where I was going to be, which is to build this menu. And the first thing I wanted to do was disable the quit with Q, which, oops, oh, that's annoying, which is actually easy enough to do. rl.set exit key, and we can set it to anything we want. Actually, maybe we will, maybe we'll set it to Q for now so that we can still exit it if we wanted to. I could set it to .null, which means that no key will exit it. So let's Zig build. Actually, let me just show you what I have here. So this is a window that I have on another monitor. Let me just make sure that I'm in the correct directory. And then let me Zig build. So this is what I want. So full build does it builds the binary and also runs all the tests that I have set up. And in case you didn't see the previous video or you missed that part, prominent compile errors just shows the errors at the bottom where it's easier to see. And watch means that it's just going to keep an eye on it and will recompile when there are any changes. So I'll just demonstrate that. Let it build first. What? Oh, right. This one is still on the wrong zig. So let me just ZSH again and do which zig. Good. Okay. Zig build full minus. No, it doesn't have the prominent one in my in its memory. So let me just prominent. Let's try that. So now it's built the whole thing, which was fast. Let me just make a change here. I'll just save it. And it just, oh, it noticed that there were no changes. Let me just change the key. And it's just rebuilt it. It's a bit annoying that it rebuilds that much stuff when I've just changed one character in the code. I saw a stream which showed that Zig 0.15 will make compilation a lot quicker, but I can't switch until DVUI has caught up. So I'm just going to move that to my, where was it? To another screen so I can keep an eye on it. ZLS should also show most of the errors, but I find it handy to just have that on another screen because ZLS sometimes takes a second to catch up. And also ZLS doesn't run tests. So where we want to start is this one. So it now exits on queue, and then we can just run it because it's been built on the other one. And then escape, escape. So you can see that their escape is what I'm pressing, but it's not doing anything. It's not exiting the game. And if I hit Q, it doesn't show that there because Raylib catches it and exits before it gets to the, I don't know what exactly prints this out. I think it's DVUI. Anyway, so we've got that. Let's commit that. Feet switch to exit on queue. Now the first part we want to do is that if escape is pressed, we want to close any of the panels. So gosh, I don't know where the code for this is. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, here we go. So I think game is a good place to put these ones, because these are game level configs or game level setups. So let me just do that. So if key input key pressed Y, and let's do if the first thing that I want to do is if escape is pressed, close any of the open panels. So if rl dot is key pressed dot escape, oops, and then I don't want to toggle it. I want to close it, and I want it to return a true if it actually was open, so that we don't display a menu if we closed the inventory panel or the craft panel. So let's go in here, inventory panel, and let's just give it a what do we have, toggle and show. Let's give it a pub f and close self, and we'll return a boolean. That's just saying self is not defined. And then what's a good way of doing it? Const ret equals, oops, I'm mixing my Go in here. Ret equals self dot shown, which is fine because that's actually what we want to return. And then self dot shown equals false, return ret. There we go. That'll do. And then I also want to do the same thing. The code is going to be exactly the same. And I've also thought about, so it's going to be exactly the same in the that was the inventory panel, in the craft panel. And actually I should at some point refactor both of these into one class with some of the shared functionality. So this one does the same thing. So what we can do here is we want, let's have var was open equals self dot, let's close the craft panel first, dot close, and then we can just do was open equals was open. Ooh, we want to do an or first so that it executes it. Self dot inventory panel dot close or was open. So in case this is not clear, when I do it this way, it makes sure that it executes this command, which is to close the inventory panel. And if that was false, but was open was true, then it will go to the second part of this clause and return was open. Otherwise, it'll just return true. If I put was open first, then if was open was true, then it won't execute the second part because it doesn't matter what the second part is. Now, we're not actually going to use it right now. Actually, let's do if was open. I'm trying to remember how I print something here. It's not fmt. std dot debug dot print show menu, comma. Okay, it's just building on the side. I'm just waiting for that. There we go. And then if I do escape, oh, that is not doing anything. I wonder if it didn't zig build run. I just want to check that my build process isn't the bit that's broken. Oh, weird. All right. But wait. Hold on. That's strange. Let me just pop that up. Okay. Escape worked there. Interesting. I just need to pull this keyboard over. I have two keyboards. My default keyboard is a 40% Piantor, and I use home row keys, home row mods, which basically means that, well, it's not just home row mods. I use a whole bunch of different things, which means that some of these keys, they respond differently if I press them or when I hold them down. And for some reason, some of the keys aren't picked up correctly by Raylib. So sometimes I just have to use my gaming keyboard, which does pick up correctly. So that's what's working now. But the problem is, so if I press escape now, it's not saying that we should be showing the menu. It is exhibiting the correct behavior when we have a menu open and then I press escape, but it's not. Oh, right, it's the other way around. If nothing was open, then we need to do it. But that is still interesting. When we were closing it, it was still not printing that out, right? I don't see it there. Let's try that again. Okay. Feel like, oh, show me. All right, okay. It was showing up there. It's just I forget. It's for some reason I always forget to put a line break at the end, so it doesn't show up. Let me just check if it was okay. Show menu was showing up there as well. Okay, good. So let me. Yeah, that's fine. So let me just commit that, I mean, technically, it's difficult to test this one, or sorry, it's difficult to write a test for this thing because we need to kind of fake or mock a bunch of things, and it is because it's so closely linked to input and output, it's just really difficult to test, or it's just you have to go the long way around. Furthermore, it's kind of pointless to test because when you're manually testing anything, this kind of stuff is going to come up all the time. So I think we can just ignore that for the time being. I like good coverage of tests. It gives me a sense of peace of mind, but I've not been focusing that much on tests in this one. I've focused on tests when manually testing it was more complicated, or it's something that I wanted to know was always working when I made changes without having to manually test it. So let me, that's fine. Actually, let's just commit it here. So we've got game, okay, and that's all correct. So we'll use escape to close any open panels. Okay, so the next part is implementing this section. So what would be a good way to make this work? I mean, I feel like I just want a struct. Well, I think a bit in object-oriented way, but even then, I think there are a couple of things to consider here. One is we want it to not, time should stop. Actually, let's worry about the time stopping later. We do have dt in here. Oh no, dt is passed in here, so that's good. I almost wonder, the menu, should the menu go one level up still? That would be, I mean, it doesn't, I'm just thinking it through here. If we go into, what was it, main.zig, there is almost an argument, or there is an argument, that the menu part should go in here because it should happen, the game is paused and we're displaying the system menu. So you could look at it two ways. Either the game itself, all of game, is paused and held, and this is at a higher level, main.zig kind of level, where we want this escape key to work, and then when you hit resume, you're resuming the game. And what we would do in that particular context, if we pause here, is this part, we would just not go into either of these. So we've got the game.update and game.render. We might still use game.render, but with a 0 dt, so that we can still see it. Yeah, we could do that. I wonder why it uses dt in there. That's interesting. I remember that there was a good reason. I just don't remember what that reason was. Okay, that's not used there. Interesting. Maybe it's not used at all. Oh, it's used here. Update camera. Right. Actually, I should move that, the update camera bit, to the update method, because that's not a rendering thing. Because we should pick a different position for the camera in update and then just set it in render. Okay. To do setting the camera should happen in update. We would then no longer need dt in here. It is interesting that sector was taking this though, so but it's not using it. So let me just remove that And let me just remove that. Let me just see if that works. I'm realizing now that there's going to be some time when I'm just waiting for the build to complete. That one did complete. Let me just try that. I mean, I can't imagine that'll make any difference. It does not. Okay. Right. Let me just oops. I just want to undo these bits so I can commit this part. Okay, gc minus a refactor remove unused param. Okay, good. I probably used it at some point in a sector and then moved it to update to be more consistent. So yeah, so the other argument is that it is at the game level. The game is deciding that it should pause. It's a tricky one. The reason I'll do it in game for now is that I've got the inventory panel and the craft panel here. Actually, I just also have to wonder whether I could handle it differently. Does the menu need anything from within the game or anything that gets initialized after the game? Because that's the other question. What it does need is config. Let me just go to main context. So it's in context that we pick up the config. So let's just see. Okay, context is initialized here, so we can use that. Okay. There is a part of me that feels like it should be in main.zig. Mainly because it's just this bit that I then skip or I don't skip. Otherwise, I have to go in here and put all of that around an if statement, which I don't want to do. So let me put in a function here, pub fn close. Sorry, that was just my phone. Close panels and self. Do we need time? No, we do not. Bool. Let me just trying to remember how Zig does comments. I think it's / closes any open panels and returns true if any were closed. And we just need to take this one. Oops. Sorry, let me just set my phone to do not disturb. So closes any open panels and returns true. And why does it not like that? Unused function parameter. No, it's not. We use it right here. Right, maybe it just needed a save. Okay, so this is good. And no, we don't want that there. So we'll pop this here. If then game dot close panels const closed equals we don't need that anymore. Okay, that's all much simpler. And then if not closed, std.debug.print open menu. There we go. And oh, right, so return was open. Right, that'll do. And what we'll have here is we will open the menu there, and we'll have something like if menu dot is open. No, if not menu dot is open. Okay, that's what we'll do there. But let's just I just have to remember what I am testing here. There we go. Escape does it, and if I hit escape again, open menu. Okay, good. gc-a refactor move menu logic to main. It's potentially better encapsulation at this level. Right, okay, so next part, let's pop main over to here, and then inventory panel, and then what I want is I wonder if I should call it menu or main menu. Let's call it menu.zig. So I realized when I was doing my Pong series, somebody pointed out that I've been naming these wrong. Since it is a struct in there, it should be Pascal case. Is it Pascal case if it's first letter capitals as well? But whatever the one it is, which is all words are starts with the capital letter. So in here we'll have const. I just like to do const std equals at import std, and we also know that we're going to use DVUI. I don't know if we'll need Raylib as const menu equals at this. What do we need? Open is spool equals false, and actually I'm not sure if we need anything else. Let's see. Now the first one we want is pub fn show self menu. I don't think we need to return anything, so we'll just return a void. And what we are going to do is we're just going to display a menu on the right hand side. We'll display that menu. So let's start off by just displaying a box of some form. But before that, let me also do pubfn hide. This, yeah, okay, for that one as well, we're going to change it, and then self.open equals true, self.open equals false. And what we'll do is, as a starting point, let's just pause the game if it is open. We need to initialize it. So let's define a var menu equals, actually menu equals, we also need to define it here. We need to import it. So const menu equals at import UI slash menu. Okay, it's saying it's not used. I'm sure that's the error there. Menu dot show, and then what we'll do here is if okay, if menu dot open, that's wrong. If not, menu dot open. Okay. I need to remind myself how DVUI works, so I'll check that craft panel. Craft panel, yeah, it makes a little bit more sense. Show button. So we probably want to use a button. Do I show any buttons? We do show some buttons, so we can maybe check some of that code. There are some buttons down here. Okay, we'll use that. Let's use that for now. And what do we want to do? Escape. Here we go. Game paused. Oops. Oh, right, because, right. What I want is actually not menu.show. We want menu.toggle. Let's just get rid of this. Toggle equals not self.open. Right? Because I should be able to press escape to quit it again, as long as there were no panels open, but there aren't going to be any panels open. Actually, I just realized, oh no, we don't know if closed. Interesting. I mean, we could simplify this a bit here, because we could say if menu, if not menu dot open, and because if menu is not open, oh gosh, my head is going to hurt with this logic, because what we want is if any were closed. If menu is not open, because if menu is open, then none were closed. You know what? I'll not bother with that just now. I could actually just test that. Okay. No. So if the menu is open, then nothing was closed. Yeah, so I think my logic was correct. But what right, because if the menu is open, then it would be false, and it would be false straight away. Okay, it's a minor tweak. Well, I should write this down. If menu is open, then no panels were closed. And that means that we don't need to actually close the panels. It could, in theory, come back to bite me if somehow I can open panels in the menu. That's another interesting question. Can we open panels in the menu? Can you pause and then open a panel? I was actually thinking about this the other day. Within like loading screens, why can't I open my inventory and see what's in there? Because that could be quite handy. In this particular case, the inventory would cover the menu, but maybe that's okay. Let's add a to do. Do we want to allow opening panels when in menu? That would require moving keyboard shortcuts out of update. Right. So menu.toggle, right. So I'll just, okay, that's the build done. Let me just check. Escape, escape, paused. Ah, there we go. Wait. There's a little bit where the screen moves down a touch. Oh, maybe because, yeah, I know why. Because the camera update happens in render. That's fine. We can live with that. It's because the ship is moving a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. Oh, maybe that's okay. Because that one is more obvious in how it moves. Oh no, that's right, it's moving, okay. Because the camera will still move, because that's happening in render. So I need to fix that later. Let me, I mean, that's not a really big bug. Did I add a to-do for that? Yeah, in the update, I did do that. To-do, we shouldn't be passing DT into render. The other thing I could do, I could hack it right now. I could just pick up the DT. Yeah, I could do this. Var DT equals 0. That would do it, because, wait, oh right, F32, not 0. The way this would work is that DT would by default be 0 and would only get the frame time if the menu is not open. Just have to check if DT is being used anywhere else. Maybe this might fix other things. No, it's not used anywhere else. No more camera moving when the game is paused. So that solves that. I wonder if I should split that into two different. No, it's all related to that. GC minus A feed. Pause the game when menu is displayed. No menu displayed yet. Right, so the next part is to actually render the menu. Render self star. We don't need to make any changes to the menu. Void if self dot, if not self dot open return, because we've got nothing to do if the menu isn't open. And then what we'll do is we will pick up a, let's just pop if we don't need to do anything, if std.debug.print. Actually, the first one is easy, and that means that we do want this to be not const. Self.open equals false. So what? Recipe entry? That's just confused. So, I mean, why not toggle here? Because we know for a fact that we want to close it on resume. I suppose in theory there is some circumstances in which resume might show up and somebody might click on it when the menu is already closed. I don't know what those conditions are, but in theory that's possible. But whenever you click resume, the game should always continue and the window should close. Let's see if it shows anything. Nope, I don't see. Let's do it just as ×1. Let's do resume. I have a feeling that I should put it into a box. So let's do that. Y2Y, Shift P. Width of 300, height of 100. Don't really care too much about that. Let's just see if it I wonder if I need to do if there is something else I missed here. Craft panel. Let's just show crafting. Let's add in a label. Doesn't really matter what the label actually says. And I do wish the compile times were a little bit quicker. Oh wait, it's not enough that I write the function. I need to actually call it. Oh, my bad. Right. Else. Menu.render. Let's try without that. It's a good chance. Well, okay, it built something, so let's try that. No? I mean, that's definitely paused it, but it's not showing me anything. Well, that is disappointing. Menu.render. If not menu.open, so that should be rendering there. If not self.open return, let's just std.debug.print menu render. I just want to check if it's rendering or trying to render. What? Oh, right. Yeah, my bad. Right. Yeah, it's definitely rendering it. Of course, I forgot a /n. DVUI.box. Could it be that DVUI rendering isn't working in there? But it should, because I'm rendering the game there. Oh, no, could it be that it's rendering the game? I just want to try. Because is it possible that the game is being rendered on top of it? I don't think so. I can render DVUI anywhere I want. But maybe right. Escape. Okay. Right. So that is interesting. So what I want then is game.update and then maybe try and there. Oh no, that's not going to work. Let me just do that. If menu.open because let's try rendering the menu after the game. But I also want to check here, update camera. Where is it rendering? Oh, okay, it's showing them at the end. So maybe the order of that does matter. I didn't think it did. Interesting. Huh. That's certainly a surprise. Let me make a note of that, because when I write this blog post, I would like to call that out. So this is in triangle. Actually, /words on sand. Oh, right. City src words on sand blog Hugo new post /triangle /menu.md. Okay, don't need that anymore. Oops. Menu order matters. I got stuck a bit wondering why the menu wasn't showing up until I realized that the game loop was overwriting it. Order matters. Okay. Now, so that part is working. Let me just get rid of this part. And the other thing that I want to do is, I don't actually care about the max size here, but I do care about its location. Now, where, so for the inventory, I actually menu and then inventory. Here we go. Right, canvas.screen width. Okay, that's fine. So here, I just realized I need a bit more information. X. Right, we need the canvas as well. That is. Wait. Oh, right. Canvas is part of the context, is it? How did this one get the canvas? That's passed in. That's fine. Let's just expect it to be passed. Do I have canvas here? We should do. Right. Oh, I think canvas is part of. Is a bit. Does the canvas get created in the game? Because it probably shouldn't, because the canvas is a main level resource. Let's see, canvas. What? Canvas, yeah. Canvas gets created here. That's fine. For the time being, let's just game.canvas. canvas is probably a game level resource, and then we'll do comma canvas const canvas equals set import dot slash split slash canvas. Okay, so we wanted 375 pixels to the left from the right edge of the screen, and then what we do is defer box.dinit, and then we probably don't need that one. Why? Right. Okay. Let it just build that and see if there are any errors. Nope, all good. Let's try building it. There we go. I mean, that's a little too far this way, but that's a start. Oh, and that works too. Nice. Oh, I need a quit as well. I wonder, can I do, well, we'll try that in a second. Let's do quit RL, oops, this is not nicely encapsulated. Oops. RL dot exit. No. Raylib exit. Init window while not exit window, blah blah, begin to run, clear background, close window, no. Simply just break when you want to exit. All right. Right. So okay, that's fine. It's a bit quit rule equals false. Let's just do it this way for now. Self.quit equals true. And it's actually quite easy. If not, window.close and menu and not menu.quit. Wait, did I commit the previous stuff? I did, okay. Oh wait, I've got some errors. Let's see. Dot slash escape. Okay, we've got quit. Does it? Excellent. Wait a minute. Move menu logic to main. Pause the game when menu is displayed. I forgot to I forgot to add the src/ui/menu.zig. Let me just check. Let me just add that into the previous commit verse first. Pause the game when menu is displayed, and then I can do all of this. And then I can do this, and that'll tell me what's happening. Ooh, I don't need Raylib because I'm not quitting it. Ah. Yep, that's built it. Let me just check. Detect close button or exit key. I should maybe update that comment. Detect window close button or window close button. Well, let's just simplify it. Detect exit conditions. That'll do. So let's just double check that our fiddling didn't mess with it. Quit, does it? Okay, excellent. GC -A feet add working quit button. Right, I think that's time for me to take a break. Next time around we'll carry on with this, and we'll do a couple of these. We'll add a couple of these other bits, and we'll do a bit of theming as well, bigger buttons and move them a bit more to the right and all that kind of stuff that we need to do. And so I'll see you there.